right, back at it for lower body. Here we go. So our first move is a squat. I would like one of two things. You're either gonna have the band around those knees and you're gonna be pressing out as you come down in that squat. Or the other option is you have the band, and I'm actually gonna grab my black one. You have the band underneath the toes. Make sure we're not leaning forward. We don't lean forward unless you're doing a stiff leg deadlift. Everything is upright and you're coming down and up here. Sitting the booty back, chest stays tall, right in that squat. So you're pushing the floor away, you're working on those legs. The next one is a hip bridge. You can keep the band at your legs if that is what you did. I really like them at my legs for this move. You're coming down on the floor. You're pressing the belly button into the spine, pushing that down. Hands come down by your sides. And all you're doing, and this is going to be a single leg, so I'll show you that in a second, is you're lifting the hips up and down. For single leg, you can, I always adjust and put my foot in a little closer to the center, rest the other one on the knee, pressing up and down here, or you can kick a leg out and press up and down, squeezing the glutes at the top, squeezing those hamstrings, and coming back down. That's your options for the single leg hip bridge. You have 15 on each side. Plie. We did these in the high intensity where we came off the floor. This time we're not even coming off the floor. Legs go out wide. You do not want a band for this. Most bands will not stretch that wide unless, like, if you have a loop band, like one of these with a handle on it. Mine are all discombobulated here because they got wet. You could put this underneath, but make sure it doesn't slip off your feet because your feet are at an angle. It tends to sometimes want to slip. So all you're doing is coming down, pushing those legs out, trying to make a house or a rectangle with your legs and your body and up. So if you just come down to where it looks like a little house, that's fine. Or you can come down even farther. It's going to be working those inner thighs. It's going to be working those haunches right here, outer thighs, outer booty, all of that area right there. So our next move is that 45-degree lunge. And there's a lot of reps on this one. These exercises should only take you 30 to 45 minutes to complete. Not a lot of time in between because we're not lifting super heavy weight. And we're doing straight sets. So we're doing 3 times each move. So 15 reps, 3 times before we move on to the next one. We're going to start in that 45-degree lunge. So what that means, feet are hip width apart, okay? I'm kind of coming at an angle. Feet are hip width apart. You're just shifting that leg back. It's not coming in. It's not going out wide. It's coming just straight back. So think about if you're using your, which is a little wider than hips, your mat is a guide. It stays on that edge of the mat. So you take it back, you lean over this front leg, support yourself, down and up. You're going to feel it in that hamstring. You're going to feel it in that booty on this side. Most of your weight is in this front leg. Then you do the other side. 12 each. Told you, there's a lot of reps on this one. You can make it a pulse at the bottom and not come up too far. So you can be, get my balance right, just down and up. The more you lean forward, keeping that back flat, don't round it, the more it's going to engage those legs and those glutes and hamstrings. All right, deadlift. This time we are going to be a little more hinged than regular. Making sure I didn't have it. I remember putting it, but I want to make sure it was. So, if you have weights, you're scratching the front of your legs and standing up. Again, it's all hamstring and glute work. If you don't have weights, you can use your bands. Just make sure that it doesn't pull you down. You come down, and up. You hinge a little bit more in those legs and up, squeezing the glutes and hamstrings as you come up, but don't lean back. We're not leaning back. We're just standing tall. Belly button in, support the back. You should not feel this in your low back. If you do, we need to work on that form a little bit more. Now, fire hydrants. I'm gonna say try it without the bands. When you put the bands on, it makes it a whole lot harder. We're working again these outer thigh areas. So try it without the bands first for one round. If it was way too easy, put on a lighter band for the second round. That is way too easy, then go on to your harder band. But you're in tabletop position. And if you need to put a knee or put a pillow underneath a knee, go ahead, that's fine. It's not a big deal. You're in tabletop, belly button is in, back is flat. I should be able to use you as a coffee table if needed, all right? We should be able to put your water on your back and it not move. Bring those legs in close together, and then one leg at a time is gonna come out, you know, like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant, come out and then down. It comes straight out from that hip. You see, I'm not coming forward, I'm not coming back, I'm coming straight out from that hip. Now, if you can only do low, that's fine. Do as many as you can, or up. It's up to you on how high you get this, but you're gonna feel it through this area and in that hip a little bit more. Then we have a wall sit. Wall sits don't have to be difficult. I'm gonna take you to my door again. So much stuff in this room, that's okay. And I'm actually gonna move my mat because my shoes might slide a little bit. Back is against, and I walk the feet out, and then to where they're a couple paces out, I sink down to where then the knees come over the ankles. Core is in tight. The goal eventually is to get those 90-degree angles in the hips and the knees and in the ankles. So coming down as far as you can, holding this for 30 seconds. Push your back into the wall. Core in tight. Don't arch the back. Don't lean forward. Stay up nice and tall. Hold it here. And you're just holding for 30 seconds. If it's easy, come a little lower. That's how you modify that one. Eventually, if you can, you add weight, but you don't have to. We're just holding. Time under tension works really, really well for a lot of these moves. The next one is, come back to my mat, is the inner thigh trimmer. We've talked about this being like the senior pitcher pose. So you're going to come from the 1990s and 80s. We're going to come on one side. That foot is behind the other knee, and you're just lifting it up. Lead with the heel. Try to get those toes to point almost down in a way, and squeezing this right here. If that's easy, I don't want that one. I want this one. You put one on the foot and one on the ankle. Okay, so that's stopping it, and you're lifting up and you're using the band as tension on this leg. You have that on each side. It's gonna work those inner thighs. Then our bear hold, that's another hold. We're just holding that position. So our bear hold, we're in tabletop again. Core is in tight, support that back. You should be able to be a table, essentially. That's what it's called. That's why it's called that. Now, if bear hold is too hard, you can hold a plank. Planks are perfectly acceptable. We're really just looking to activate the entire body here. But if you want to burn the legs even more, you're going to do the bear hold. So all we're doing is lifting those knees up about a credit card width, you know, like if it was standing edge to edge off the ground, and you're holding right here. Look down a little bit, a few inches in front of your fingertips. Belly button is in tight. Drop the chest. Keep it flat. Don't round it up. And you're just holding, keeping those knees as close as you can to the mat without touching. Again, if that's too hard, come into a plank, come into an elbow plank, come onto your knees for a plank, whatever you need to do. That's your modifications. Lying abduction. We're back to the floor. Now, technically for the bear hold, you could have kept that band on. You don't have to take the band off for the bear hold. And these mats have been outside a lot lately, so they're a little more grassy than they normally are. The closer the band is to the joint that's moving, the easier it is. The farther away, the harder it is. Okay, that's why in those inner thigh trimmers, I had it low. You could always pull it up to make it easier. The joint that's moving, remember, the farther away, the harder, the closer, the easier. All right, so, but this one I am going to put just above my knees. You're going to lay back, your feet are together, and you're just pressing your knees out as wide as you can and pull them in. Press them out and in. Pull that belly button in, press it into the mat, keeping this core nice and tight. Working those inner thighs a little bit, but mostly those outer thighs. Abduction, ABD, abduction is pressing away. It's working the outer parts. The ADD, the adduction, is the inner thighs. Right now we're pressing the outer thighs, and we press out. You might even feel that in your booty a little bit more, and that's okay. That's telling me that your booty is a little stronger than those outer thighs, which is on most people. And you know, just to stay down on the ground, and we don't have to move very much. And again, you could keep the band on. I would probably not for the first couple times of doing this. I know that for the next one, I abbreviated it, but I'm actually gonna have to go and look at what it was. Okay, so but I do know this next one. This next one's a hamstring walkout. So you're up, your core is in tight, legs are underneath those hips, essentially, or hip width apart. You're gonna walk it out, in. Now, the closer your feet start to your hips, the less length you have to have in that walkout. All right, or if you want to make it really hard on yourself, you come to where your booty and legs are just hovering above the mat and walk it in. You have 8 total. Alternate legs, or do 4 on one side and then 4 on the other. All right. Standing. Something. LHP. I don't know what I put. Give me a second. Lovely video, right? Give me a second. Let me pull up what that was, because I wrote it and then the water got to it, and I don't know. That's not what I wanted. Make sure you get plenty of drinks in between. Make sure you are stretching afterwards. Make sure you're getting a good warm-up beforehand. That's not what I wanted either. All right. Well. I don't know where it got saved at. Ah, there it is. Found it. Love it when I find it. Okay, thanks y'all for bearing with me. Standing glute lift. Haha. That's what that was. It's not a LHP, it's a LIFT. All right, so standing glute lift. I suggest having something that you can, a wall or a chair that you can balance on. Core is in tight. All you're doing here is lifting up and pulsing, squeezing that glute. Now, if this seems super easy, you can put a band at your knees, at your calves, or at your ankles, making this harder, pressing up for 15. And that's your finisher. Working on that booty just a little bit more. All right? So that's your lower body workout. Thanks for bearing with me today. And I will give you the core